Brothers and sisters, so just to share a few words today, I was thinking about the gospel, which is one of my favorite gospels that we have in Mark, and I love it in the version in Luke as well. And it's about this incredible moment of Christ drawing our attention in a very special and specific way to this woman, this widow, who puts in what seems to the world as very little, but she puts in everything, basically. She puts in everything she needs into the temple. And there they are, the wealthy people who are putting in, but they put in large amounts, which, in worldly sense sounds great. But in the depth of their heart is, have they given everything? And so it's not really a question really about wealth and poor, really. It's about the ability to really give everything to the temple, quote unquote, which is really a symbol here of the very heart of Christ and of life, of one's life of worship. Do we give everything? What's holding us back from giving even the things we need back to God? And so, of course, could be seen on a monetary level, in the way we give. Often, really when we give from what we need out of love for God, then tremendous blessings really flow from that. And really it's a sign of the charity of the cross, where Christ gave everything. And so when he points to this woman in the temple, it really foreshadows the sacrifice his mother gives, who is the widow at the foot of the cross, who gives everything she needs. She needs her son. She loves her son so much, but she offers that freely to God the Father. And she did that when she said yes. She accepted that in Nazareth, in the quietness of her own annunciation between her and the angel Gabriel. She knew that if she was to receive a child in this way, that she had to give everything. And so this woman, this widow, is a real symbol of Our Lady. And it's also a symbol of Christ himself, who will give everything on the cross, his whole life, for the sake of us. And so that love that which Christ offered on the cross, Christ wants to offer us that same self-sacrificial love by the power of the Holy Spirit and by his grace. And so one of the signs of knowing whether we are growing in union with God, growing in love with God, growing in charity, growing in the gift of the Holy Spirit, is the measure by which we're willing to sacrifice more and more unconditionally for the sake of others and for the sake of God himself. And so, we might sacrifice ourselves, but we complain, moan, and groan in the middle of the process, or we do it because we think it's an obligation, or, but do we do it with love? Do we do it with affection? Do we do it with our whole heart? And of course, this is a great challenge to our humanity in so many ways, because we place so many conditions on this gift of love in us. And so we limit, and we're often like those wealthy people who are just giving out of our surplus, as opposed to even giving out of our need. And so when it comes to prayer as well, there are times where we could do other things, but we decide in that moment to be like the widow, to give away those things, even good things that we might need, just a friend calling a friend, or going out to meet a friend. We might say, Lord, I actually want to give you this time, and I'll come and I'll be with you in prayer. I'll go and spend my time in the Adoration Chapel, or I'll go and visit the church, or I'll stay home and light my candle and, pray my rosary and read some scriptures that Friday night when everybody else is going out. Or, it's these sacrifices, these abilities to say no to these things, these desires, and to say to the Lord, my love for you is more real. My desire for you is more real. And you are a real person. And so when I spend this time with you, you're giving proof to yourself that you actually believe the Lord is worthy of this time. And so I think these moments are like moments of the widow, where we give everything in these moments, and it costs us greatly. Now, one of the things about this whole gospel is, who can judge the value of any of our acts? Outwardly, it might look great. These people have put great money into the temple, and this woman, she's only put a penny. But Christ knows the heart. He's the one who is the only one who could judge the value of our good acts. And so we must be aware and attentive as well. And it's why Christ has to draw their attention, the disciples, and our attention to this woman. Like, how amazing is that this woman's offering draws the very eyes of God upon her life, draws his attention. And so this kind of way of living, this sacrificial love for others and for God, it draws the eyes of God upon us. And no doubt that widow was greatly favored and greatly rewarded. She no doubt really in her heart cooperated with the Holy Spirit and the gifts of love to be able to do that. And so, at the end of the day, the Lord judges the value of the heart. And so we must ask the Lord to have that sacrificial love, to extend ourselves, for the sake of the kingdom and for the sake of the Lord. And to really ask ourselves serious questions, how am I serving the Lord? Am I serving him out of my abundance, or am I serving him even out of my needs?